Hello, my name is Barbara. Welcome. I would like to lead you through about a 20-minute yoga practice to balance and strengthen and boost our immunity. We will begin in a seated position. This doesn't need to be cross-legged. If you're more comfortable with a leg bent in front or sitting with straight legs, doesn't matter. If you want to sit up on something to raise your hips, that's often a very nice option as well. Whatever lets us be comfortable. So sinking our hips back, lifting our hearts, letting our shoulders melt down our backs, lifting our crown space, beginning to relax our facial muscles, and starting to bring our attention to the breath. The expansion of the inhale, the release of the exhale. Maybe inhaling to absorb and take in goodness and blessings. Exhaling to release back down to Mother Earth. And as we're taking these beautiful breaths, just noticing where you feel the expansion, where you feel the release of the exhale. And as we have our attention to the breath, if you would like to set an intention for today's practice, I invite you to do so. It can be a phrase or a word or a color or a feeling or an affirmation. If something's coming up for you, I invite you just to scoop it up, maybe tuck it in your heart space beside your heart. A couple more of these beautiful breaths. Lengthening, getting slower, getting deeper. And now we'll breathe our hands up to scoop in all the goodness. Exhale, hands coming down to heart center as we squeeze the belly button towards the spine. Inhaling up to reach and scoop and embrace. Exhaling down to heart center. Two more. Inhaling up. Exhaling to seal this in our heart space. And one more. Inhaling up. Exhaling down to heart center. We'll inhale up again. This time turning to the right side, placing the left hand on the right knee, the right hand dropping behind as our gaze follows as well, breathing into our beautiful tall spines, giving our inner organs a lovely massage with this twist. Now we'll breathe back up to center. Exhale to the other side, hand on knee, other hand dropping behind, our gaze drifting behind us. Let's do one more each side. Let's breathe in back to center. Exhale, hand on knee, that first side. And we'll inhale to center. Exhale to the second side. And inhaling back, up into center. Exhaling, fingertips down to the mat. Rolling our shoulders behind us as we do so. Fingertips to the mat. Breathing in. Exhale as we walk the right fingers out to the side, keeping that other hip connected to the earth. Flipping the other palm open, over we come, taking our gaze up to the inside of that elbow. Breathing into the side stretch. Like I said, just inviting that opposite hip down to earth that wants to pop up, just gently inviting it back down. Now breathing that hand up, across, down to the mat, walking the fingers, other hand, flipping the other palm, over we come over the side, gaze to the inner elbow. Once again, if that hip's being a little errant, a little bit independent, inviting it back down to the earth. Breathing. We'll do one more each side. We'll breathe back up and over, walk the fingers, flip the palm, come on over the side. Breathing back up. Down to the mat, walking fingers, flipping the palm, coming on over. And breathing back to center, back to our seated position. Now making our way onto our hands and knees, however you want to get there. This is called tabletop position. Organizing our hands so they're right under our shoulders, our hips over our knees, and we've got the shoelace side of our mats, of our feet on the mat. Okie dokie. Here we are. Now pressing the shoelaces into the floor. Let's see what happens when we do that. Noticing the abdominals become a little more engaged. Pressing the hands into the earth. Imagine each hand is on a giant dial. We're turning the hands of the dials away from each other. That brings the shoulders back. It brings the elbow creases shining forward. Let's breathe in to lift our hearts. Exhale to round the spine, tuck our tails. Do a nice rounded spine. Inhaling to lift our hearts, little back bend. Exhale to round and tuck our tails. This is called cat-cow pose. 2 more. We'll inhale it up. We'll exhale to round. And we'll inhale to lift our hearts. Lift our gaze. Exhale to tuck our tails, round our spine. Back to a neutral tabletop. Walking hands forward, slowly lowering down onto the mat, onto our bellies. Our shoelace sides of our feet are still on the mat. Now organizing our hands so our palms are open, facing down. We have our lower arms pressing into the mat, pressing, so we can lift our gaze, lift up our hearts into Sphinx pose. Noticing the hands, the lower arm, the elbows on the earth. Noticing the pubic bone connecting. Noticing the knees and the shoelace sides of the feet, all connecting. Pressing down to lift our hearts a little bit more. The more we press into the earth, the higher we'll lift our hearts. One more breath. Now let's release that down to the earth. Take our faces to one side, our hands behind us, palms up. A little bit of a recovery, taking a breath here. Taking our noses back to face the earth, rolling our shoulders back, our palms up. We're lifting our feet skyward, lifting our palms skyward, rolling our shoulders, lifting our hearts into a beautiful locust pose. Breathing the whole time, checking in on our facial muscles, that we're not grabbing, that everything is released and free. Smiling helps. Breathing, maybe we can get a little bit higher by lifting our feet, squeezing our shoulders, lifting our arms, breathing. Did I say breathing? Keep breathing. One more breath. Now we'll lower down the mat, take our gaze to the other side. Our palms up, arms behind us, lowering to the mat. Taking our gaze frontwards again, planting our hands on the earth. Our lower arm is going to find one more sphinx by pressing, once again, hands, lower arms, elbows into the earth, lift up our hearts. Breathing nice and strong. We can add a little more by pressing our shoelaces into the earth. Feeling all those contact points. Keeping our jaws relaxed. Our tongue and our lips. 2 more breaths. Well done. Let's tuck our toes. Invite our heels to come either side of the mat. Now toes pointing together in the center, lowering our brow down to the earth into a wide-legged child's pose. While we're here, let's give our brow space a bit of a massage by taking our head to one side and then the other, feeling that beautiful soothing action on our brow. Our third eye chakra. Just a gentle rolling back and forth, one side to the other. Breathing. Back to center. Bring up our hips. Let's tuck our toes. Press them into the earth. Press our hands. Hips floating up into a downward facing dog. Flattening between our shoulder blades. Reaching with our hands. Inviting the heels towards the earth. They might not get there. Not a worry. It's not the reason we're here. On the count of 3, we'll sink our weight into our right foot and bring the left foot forward between the hands into a lunge. Sinking that front foot straight down, straight down, straight down. Inviting the hands to slowly come up. Finding our stability by feeling the energy of the back leg running back through the mound of the big toe and the big toe. Our front knee is strong. We're staying off the inner arch of the foot, cheating a little bit to the outside, inviting that front knee just to lean a little bit to the outside. We can stay here, or we can raise up our arms into our crescent lunge. Breathing. Let's lower our hands to the mat. Step that front foot back into another downward dog. We'll walk out the dog. Pausing, loading our weight onto our left foot this time. On the count of 3, we'll bring that right foot forward between the hands. 1, 2, 3. Finding that lunge. Finding that stability, that right foot pressing straight down. That back leg, the energy line running back to the mound of the big toe. The big toe, raising our hands to our knee, rolling our shoulders back. We can stay here, or we can invite our hands up into our crescent lunge. Breathing. Dropping the hands down to the mat, either side of the front foot. Putting our weight onto our front foot, bringing the back foot forward to meet the front. Here we go. Into a forward fold. Dropping over, relaxing our head. Sinking our feet into the earth to slowly roll up. Stacking our vertebrae, one on top of the other. Very slow. Coming up to a standing position, rolling shoulders back. Palms of the hands shining forward, hearts lifted. Welcome to Tadasana or mountain pose. Now taking a giant step back with the right foot. Turning that foot so it's facing the front of your room, parallel with the short end of your mat. Bending that front knee so we have a lovely right angle. At the knee, down where the ankle meets the foot, taking lots of room here, sinking into the outside edge of the back foot, inviting our torso to turn towards that bent front knee, arms opening, reaching outward, palms down, gaze over that middle front finger into our warrior 2. Breathing. Strong pose, breathing into reach. Exhale, bending that front elbow, coming over the side. Our gaze drifting up towards the other elbow. Now breathing back through our warrior 2. Exhaling as that back hand slides down the straight leg. Our front hand comes over into exalted warrior. Bit of a back bend. Gaze upwards. Let's breathe back through our warrior 2. Bend that front elbow, come over into our extended side angle. Breathe back through our warrior 2. Exhale, exalted warrior. Let's do 2 more of these using the breath. to flow through this warrior sequence. And we'll meet again in our warrior two, reaching, straightening the front leg, reaching with the front hand, hitching back the back hip, opening up our palms, tipping over into our triangle pose. We don't have to get all the way down. If we have a block, we can use the block as a landing pad. The top hand is just extended, hands, fingers extended. That front leg is straight. We're looking up at that top hand. So with or without the block. Let's breathe on out of that. Find our warrior two. Invite both feet to face the front. Turning the other direction now. Front foot, bending the knee. Back foot, parallel with the short end of the mat. Outside edge of that foot is grounding into the earth. We're reaching with our hands. We're breathing into reach. We're exhaling to bend the front elbow, come over into side angle. Taking a breath. Breathing back through our warrior two. Exhaling, letting that back hand slide down the leg to find our exalted warrior. And moving with the breath. Turn this into a bit of a flow. Coming over in a side angle. Inhaling through warrior two. Exhaling, exalted. Inhaling. Exhaling. We'll do one more. We'll meet in our warrior two. Straighten the front leg. Reach the front hand. Tip over with open palms into our triangle. Again, the block is an option. That just makes our arms a little longer. Gives us a landing pad. Either way. Imagine we're suspended between two panes of glass. One more breath. Coming out of that, let's heel and toe our feet inwards. Shake it out, and we'll meet on our backs on the floor. Bending our knees, lowering down to the mat, feeling the soles of our feet, the palms of our hands, our hips, our shoulders, the back of our head, all connected with the earth here. Breathing. Now pressing the hands and the feet into the earth. Let's let the hips float up like a helium balloon. Our bridges are really tall because we're pressing the feet into the earth. Nice tall bridge. We'll breathe that right hand up and over our heads. Exhale it straight back to reach behind us. Inhale it back up and over. Exhale to the floor. Other hand, inhaling up and over. Bridges are tall. Reaching that hand back. Inhaling up and exhaling to the floor. One more each side. Inhaling, exhaling, down to the floor. And last one to inhale up. Keep your bridge tall and back. Inhaling up. This time hand and hips all come down to the floor. Let's invite our toes up, hands finding our feet. Our toes are the inside, outside of the feet. Doesn't matter. As the knees drop either side of our torso into a happy baby. Noticing the breath. Exploring by bending and straightening the legs. Maybe rocking side to side. Just having some fun here. Moving around. Now lowering the feet to the floor. If you have a block, I invite you to slip it under your hips, under your sacrum. Either the lowest or the middle side, doesn't matter. Without a block, it works too. One technique is to make a triangle with your fingers, and we can slip that underneath to support our sacrum. Now our hips are grounded on the earth or on the block as we lift our feet up to the sky. This is called waterfall pose. It's considered a recovery pose because our head is lower than our hearts. This is a lovely one to hang out in for a few breaths. Another variation is to take it to the wall. We simply scooch up against the wall, bring our legs up the same way, but our legs are resting against the wall. Another option here, if you have a yoga strap or a tie, we can tie our legs here, make a little loop to support our legs between the knee and the hips so that we can rest outwards with the tie, with the belt. So options here. That strapping of the legs works either in waterfall or in legs up the wall. This is a lovely one if you had a long day at work or you have tired or aching legs, just need a little time out. Waterfall or legs up the wall is a lovely position to take. It's a little time out for yourself. Now we'll drop slowly the feet to the earth, remove the block if it's there, taking one final beautiful stretch, reaching over the head with the hands, letting the legs and feet really get nice and long here. Taking any final twist or stretch you would like to explore, and we'll meet in our final Shavasana pose, which is simply finding a very comfortable position on the mat. You're welcome to turn on some music during this period. During your Shavasana, make it yours. Use a blanket, use some pillows, a bolster under your knees. Take as much time as you wish. Enjoy your Shavasana. I will leave you in Shavasana with an expression of my gratitude for joining me today and wishing you blessings, the best of health, and much joy. The light in me sees and celebrates the light in you. Namaste.